So far, we have two subjective notions of truth. The first is what a person believes to be true, regardless of whether it's really true in an objective sense. And the second is what works for a person, meaning what has led them to no longer have any doubts. Again, whether or not what works for them is really true. Let's now turn to two objective notions of truth, meaning what is really true. Scientists and philosophers are not that interested in what someone believes to be true. Scientists and philosophers want to find out what is objectively true. Well, what makes a claim true for a scientist, or what makes a claim true for a philosopher? I would say that scientists and philosophers start at opposite ends of a search for truth. Science specializes in one type of truth-seeking, while philosophy specializes in another, leading to two different meanings of objective truth. These are our third and fourth theories of truth. Scientists start from the world as it is, and they try to figure out how some real process is or how it works. The third theory of truth, then, the one that scientists are a big fan of, is the correspondence theory of truth, according to which truth is defined as correspondence or matching between a proposition or a model and facts in the world. For example, if I say, "It's raining," and I look out the window and I see rain, well, then the statement is true because my statement about the world and the state of the world match. They correspond. But if I say, "It's raining," and then I look outside and I see that it's sunny outside, well, then my statement is false because it does not correspond with what is really happening. Philosophers, at least analytic philosophers, start from logic. Philosophers tend to think about how things must work or cannot work given their starting assumptions. So our fourth and final meaning of truth, which is the one that philosophers emphasize, is the so-called coherence theory of truth, according to which a proposition is true if it logically coheres with the other propositions of some propositional system, or follows from the assumptions or axioms or premises of that system. And those could be about the world or about God or whatever you like. For example, if I assume that all humans are mortal, and I find that Socrates is a human, well, it logically follows that he is mortal. Science and philosophy are both in search of the truth, but from different approaches and employing different preferred tools and strategies. Science and philosophy care about both fundamental meanings of objective truth, but science emphasizes the correspondence notion of truth in that we obsess about the correspondence of our models with facts in the world, while philosophy emphasizes the logical coherence of a set of propositions about the world. The most devastating weapon of science is disconfirming real-world data or evidence, because this proves non-correspondence between a model and the facts. So, for example, if I say, "No animal can talk," and a farmer finds that one of his pigs can talk, well, that falsifies the claim that no animal can talk. End of story. In contrast, the main weapon of philosophy is a demonstration of logical inconsistency through argument because it proves non-coherence and therefore falsity. In one sense, philosophers don't need to look at the world or neural circuits or to collect data at all because any view that is logically impossible or incoherent, or any proposition about the world that does not logically follow from accepted premises, cannot be true about the world. But philosophy can only get partway to the truth. Since many competing propositions about the world are each logically possible or plausible, even when they are mutually exclusive, we must, in the end, look at the world and collect data to settle metaphysical debates such as the ongoing debate over free will. For this reason, I believe that metaphysical debates about what is the case can only be settled by science. That said, science needs philosophy too, much more than most of my neuroscientist colleagues care to admit, because without subjecting ourselves to the withering logical criticisms of philosophers, we might make, and I think we really have made, arrogant and wrong-headed claims such as there is no free will, or mental events cannot be causal in the universe, on the basis of the thinnest of data. All right, let me summarize what we have discussed in this segment. We have considered four meanings of the word truth. The first two are subjective notions of truth, and the second two are objective notions of truth. They are, first, truth as your perspective on an event, or your belief about an event. So, for example, let's say your cat is dead, but you believe your cat's still alive. then for you, it is true that your cat is alive, even though objectively it's not true. Second, truth can be that which works for you or that which settles a matter of doubt for you. For example, you feel doubt about whether your cat is really alive or dead, so you begin to try to find out more information. You call your trusted friend, who says, "Don't worry, your cat's still alive." You cease having doubts. This cessation of doubt is what pragmatists mean by something being true for someone. Our third meaning of truth is truth as correspondence between a claim and what is really the case. So here you say, my cat is alive, and if it really is alive, then that statement is true because it corresponds with the facts. And our fourth and final meaning of truth is truth as logical coherence with a set of unproven assumptions. If one assumes the truth of the statement that all cats are mortal, then it follows that your cat is mortal. In this course, we're interested in discovering what is objectively true about free will and how it might work in the human brain. We'll begin by examining certain philosophical claims about free will, which will take us a bit into logic, and then later in the course, we'll consider scientific claims that there is a free will or is not a free will.